All right, welcome back, everyone. We were just about to make a dabble fortune roll to see what we can gather from the clues about the mayor's secretary. So let's see how that roll goes.
Oh, that's me. I'm sorry. I was like, wait a minute.
Some of us are coming back at different paces.
I would like to increase my dabble to 2, so I have one more potential.
All right.
Mm,
And if I
You're
put a point,
uncovering as you're sobering up. You're discovering that you are actually a great detective. Oh yeah, I know how to do this.
and if I have a point in dabble, I could assist.
Yeah, you could pay one stress to be like, actually, here, let me contribute my ideas too.
All right.
Uh,
I
for
would like
those
to
of
do
you
that.
for those of you who've played other Forged in the Dark games, a difference in Deathwish is if you want to help somebody, if you want to do an assist by just contributing alongside them, you have to have at least 1D in the action that they're using to sort of show that your character's got the competence to help out.
All right. So I've just added a point in dabble, and I'd like to spend a stress to do that.
okay.
Great.
So I actually have 3, so that's 4.
Oh wow.
Is there anything else we want to do with this, or I think 4 is good. That's a lot of
Yeah, it's a
dice.
fortune roll. You're not gonna die.
All my
Probably.
sad fortune rolls. All right, let's try. Roll 20. Let's go. I got a 5.
There you go. So a 5 on a gather information roll means you get the information you're looking for.
Excellent.
He's a vampire. You're sure of it. He's a vampire.
Hmm.
So being a vampire isn't technically illegal, but there's no good reason to hide you're a vampire. You're supposed to get it licensed and registered and so on, and they check in on you because vampires need to feed on blood to stay sane, and so governments generally like to monitor your intake and make sure that you're getting the right amount and that you're getting it without killing anyone. So the fact that he's a secret vampire suggests there's something shady going on for sure.
Do we have any sense that vampiric powers would be helpful for convincing a population full of people to just be on your side?
So there's no vampiric mesmerism sort of effect
Yeah.
for normal people, but vampires can they do have a natural affinity for necromancy, which is the ability to push your own emotions and memories and feelings into zombies to make them do what you want instead of acting as a normal person. uh,
Oh, so that list of people very well could be other vampires
yeah,
in that
other undead.
area. Well, that is a question though. Do vampires and the revenants have any correlation with each other? Because saying everyone
Yes.
dies to the revenants when you just take them all off yourself.
So there is a kind of revenant called a Ratha, which is when a revenant mutates into a sort of super vampire or master vampire. And so those vampires could very well have an alliance with vampires here in Scarlet Bay.
Hmm.
So they're just wanting to actually let it happen.
Could be.
Could be. In terms of this unshakable voting block, you said that necromancy is good for controlling zombies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what zombies are like in this world, but is it possible that a bunch of them could actually be zombies
In secret?
secretly pretending to be regular humans? Or is that
If
not something they could manage?
if it was a convincing if a skilled necromancer trained them, if it taught them how to act out human, then yes, they could. At night, sunlight is effective on both vampires and zombies, and so they would want to avoid coming out during the day if they've been turned into undead.
Right. And the secretary we met was indoors, so he wasn't outside.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, obviously a bunch of the voters are humans who just, for some reason, like the mayor, unless there's some other kind of magic that would do this, and just influence a whole bunch of folks. But it also seems possible that there might be a crew of zombies, maybe in that northern district, who are all ready to vote and are trained to be to act like humans at night.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Grigsby had a goth phase once when he was young.
Is any of this vampirism or zombie or anything like that, can that be picked up with what's that word? Lithium ink?
So Lethian ink and miasma would actually combine to create a different element if they touched, which would be bad for the zombies because they need the miasma to shamble around. Let me check what miasma plus Lethian ink equals. That makes Jack Flint, which is an orangish flint-like rock. So yeah, if you were to rub Lethian ink on a zombie or a vampire, it would crystallize into rock, and the zombie would lose control of that limb or whatever.
Change of plans. We don't need to drop a bunch of stuff in the water. We need a blimp or something and dust the town.
Well, if you dust the town, it's only going to affect the ones who are outdoors, which during the day is probably none of them.
Right.
All right, let's go to each door and just blow in a bunch of dust into it.
Well, we're not sure that there are a bunch of zombies. We just have a suspicion.
Either way, we could use the town's defense to, like, whatever's coming, we could raise the defense, right? Like, we'd be, unless the town itself, like the vampires, had control of the guns.
Yeah. I mean, even if you build a fort, if the people running the fort just let the revenants in, then it's not helping you. If anything, it's just bottling in the people so it make more victims.
And that reminds me of the captain of the guardhouse that I met earlier, which
Yeah, we have
they already have that.
Yep. And vampires don't eat regular food.
That's right.
That's right. So they would not eat a muffin.
Yep, they're a kind of golem, so they're animated by alchemy, not by biology.
Right. And so they need blood, but not any other kind of sustenance.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to Grigsby that we don't know where the threat is coming from, but we know there's going to be a threat. So maybe the false flag operation is the best thing anyway, because we know one of these cats is gonna be bad. So maybe we just warn the town to be paranoid in general?
Well, I without specifics or proof, I'm not sure. So how do you kill a vampire?
So,
as far as you know.
That's an important point about the Deathwish system, is that everything in the ecology document is player knowledge. This isn't like certain other systems I could name where it's, players have to roll to find out if they know what a dragon is or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, in this setting, they're just the animals, and so people know how animals work. So for vampires, what you know is they have +1 threat. They're stronger and tougher than a normal member of their species. Pinpoint attacks like bullets and knives do nothing to them because their brain is their whole body, and so no specific part of their body can hurt them. However, because they're made of animated miasma, northern elements like elixir, ether, and philosopher's stone are particularly harmful weapons against them. And lastly, miasma is weak to direct sunlight and fire. So in sunlight, vampires can't see very well since they see through miasma, and any wounds that you inflict on them that let the sunlight in will be especially aggravated and painful to them. And setting them on fire hurts them very badly.
Mm-hmm.
And it particularly damages their intelligence, turning them from vampires back into zombies that are more savage and wild.
So they sort of go into a frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I do have what I call the white pepper.
You sure
Yeah.
do.
I do.
Yeah, that
I
uses elixir, which is a northern element.
Yeah, it's no, I think you and I are talking about two different things because I'm talking about my white ants.
Right.
Because if they're inserted into a regenerating wound, they wreak havoc within the target and turning every regeneration into further harm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know you mentioned earlier that there's something you can mix that with as well that kind of like proliferates that.
So elixir is the thing that most creatures use to regenerate. And so elixir is an alchemy element that in response to an emotion of pain, it duplicates the flesh that it's in contact with. So you could pour it onto a painful wound and it would heal your wound. White ants take advantage of that to reproduce, and so their entire body gets copied in elixir. And so if you loaded your special pepper shaker gun with elixir and white ants, they would reproduce and spread elixir wherever you shoot them.
Let's do that.
All right, I just need everyone to line up and I just shoot them in the face with a bunch of ants.
Well, so it seems like our first plan of scaring the city into voting for candidate Tom probably wouldn't achieve our overall goal by itself. Might or might not actually succeed in getting Tom elected if really there are a bunch of voters who are going to vote for Becker no matter what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be that Tom is wrong in saying that if there were some kind of attack, he'd get elected.
Yep.
Which would shift the point of power from the vampires possibly back to a human. Because if somebody's secretary is a vampire, pretty sure that somebody else is.
Yeah, I'm thinking since Becker is relatively new here, he doesn't have roots. He has some kind of ability to just get people liking him and voting for him. That he's got some kind of, that he's probably a vampire and has some kind of ability to influence people, or maybe he's just charismatic as hell.
Maybe he got the vampires on his side with charisma.
Yeah. Maybe he's just an awful nice guy and we're misunderestimating him.
When's the last time anyone has actually seen him, though?
He gives campaign speeches every once in a while from the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
From the second floor, so nobody is actually close enough to actually recognize facial features, possibly.
And now that you ask around, he only ever gives them at night.
Yeah. Around sundown.
It's so he can get the lighting exactly right, he says.
Yeah. He likes the really dramatic lighting, the magic hour, that whole thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see. So I'm guessing he's a vampire. With a normal population of voters, if we were to just come out with we provide Tom with clear proof that his opponent is a vampire, would that sway people, or would
if you had decisive proof that Becker was a vampire, it would kill his campaign and it would probably get him burned by a lynch mob because people are very scared of vampires for good reason.
All right.
I could never be a vampire. Love garlic too much. Used to love garlic too much.
Oh no!
I become a golem vampire.
So one strategy would be to try to find some way to just out him as a vampire.
wait until he's giving a campaign speech and splash some elixir on him.
That
Would that
might
do
actually be our shot to do it.
He's giving one tonight at sunset.
Interesting. So let's take a look at where he's going to be giving his speech. What
It's
if we
from
were like
from the second
on
floor from the mayor's office. There's a little balcony.
balcony? Okay. Because I'm wondering if we were just like on the roof right over him, could we just drop some stuff on him?
Sure could.
Is there like a gazebo or
No.
roof or something
It
there? It's an
might-
open balcony.
Open balcony.
Might be safer to do it from a distance, though. I'm guessing that have that entire building surveyed of some sort.
I'm guessing so. Yeah.
So survey would be a good action to find a good sniping position if that's your plan. Or if you do
Yeah.
want to shimmy up onto the building, you could do it sneakily with finesse, or you could just leap onto the building with barrel.
Uh-huh.
I'm good at surveying. That's why I'm a very observational.
Yeah.
Whoa,
So
whoa,
why
whoa.
don't we take a
Loud
look
drunk.
at this whole area and think about coming up with a plan? Does that seem like the best plan to you folks?
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Find a way to get elixir on him. And we could potentially have 2 lines of attack. We could have one person attempting to get up on top of the roof, and which could at the very least provide a distraction, and another person attempting to snipe elixir in from a distance.
I do have an
Mhm.
air rifle, and I have 2 in survey. So, like, I'm sort of like, yeah, I could shoot from a distance if I need to.
I have a.
Although hunt is the action for
Oh.
the act of shooting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty much maxed out on my points. I can survey.
Yeah.
I have
got one
I
more.
have 2 floating points. I also have signature weapon. I also have powder burn, which costs no stress for push for effect when making a range attack.
At close
Uh,
range.
Yeah.
Let's see what
Close
else.
range,
Oh,
yeah.
I also have nimble fingers, so I can slip in the elixir if we're trying to get it on the persons. And I'm a master
Question.
of disguise.
How tall is Grigsby?
6'8".
Are there like
Big
branches
guy.
up,
Yeah.
or just like a straight board of timber?
He's like,
The reason why I'm asking is, can we use him as a ladder to get up the building?
yes, yes, you can. Grigsby looks like a ladder. All right, I'm switching the face. Yeah, I think he could probably just be like,
Yeah, all right. That sounds like a good assist.
and I do have
Or set
golem
of
dryad
action.
wood shape too, so I guess that would.
Oh
sort of
yes,
be
you
able
can
to-
make a
yeah.
ladder. Or
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
ladder.
So, yeah, I
Okay.
can do that.
Do you want to use that as a setup action or just to assist?
Ooh, what should we do?
Well,
Okay.
okay. So the action roll to get on the roof would be finesse based. I'd say it's risky, and I'd say your effect without any kind of ladder is probably only limited.
Someone lead me to the roof, please. I have no finesse. Help me out here. Help big old Grigsby out.
Well, I
Um,
think we need to decide who's going to be in what spot and then plan accordingly.
Yep.
So this might also be a good point to switch to an engagement roll.
Yep.
So one thing that's different here for those of you familiar with Forged in the Dark is that engagement rolls in Deathwish are optional, not mandatory, and you can just invoke them when you think they would benefit you. And then for people who have never played any Forged in the Dark game, could somebody explain engagement? Sorry, I have to look up this rule.
Sure. So the way engagement works is it's designed to have you not have to bother with a big planning process and assume that you've already done competent things to get where you need to go. And the engagement role basically decides what the situation is or how good a situation you're in at the point where things first go wrong in a scene. And that if you need to fill in plans at that point, you can do flashbacks to cover those things.
Yep. And so I've changed the types of engagement roles. So I'm going to go ahead and just list them now, and you say which one you guys think you're trying to do. An ambush is luring the enemy into a trap. A chase is you have to catch up to the target before they reach their destination. Hunt/investigate is track down an elusive target or solve a mystery. Assault is break into the enemy's position and disrupt them with shock.
Could do that one too.
Break-in/infiltrate is you're entering a place protected by traps, guards, and other security measures. Challenge is convince your target to come out and face you in combat. And lookout is be wary while defending a location or escorting an ally.
Cool. Okay.
So
I
sounds
think
like
we're-
you were probably looking at an infiltrate.
That sounds about right. Yes, with possibly a setup action to get things going.
So your detail is the point of entry. And so I think you could. I think you'd probably start with 2D on this. I think you're in a pretty good position, or probably 1D actually. Yeah, because you're going at night, and there are some extra guards at night.
Right.
But I think you could probably get some extra D by you doing the ladder shape trick. So I think we could have that pack be just an action roll to try to improve your engagement roll.
Does it make sense for us to go to try to place before it's night and then wait, since our enemies have an advantage at night?
Yeah, you could do that.
It would make more sense to have somebody hiding in place during the afternoon.
Yeah,
I could act like a flower pot.
I could be a tree.
You make a real
All right.
good tree.
And so in that
It's just him
case,
sleeping like.
if you're trying to get him to come out while you're all waiting in ambush, maybe the ambush engagement roll would be a better choice. And in that case, the detail is the trap that you're planning to get the enemy to walk into.
Okay.
And so what's that going to look like? What's the decisive moment where you get him?
Sure. Well, so he's out. He is making his speech.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So my character is built more as a gunfighter than a sniper, unfortunately, or I would want to be, kind of far away using a great ranged attack. But if we have somebody above him ready to dump on him, that's certainly one line of attack. I could be out in the crowd ready to cover if necessary or create a big distraction.
I think honestly, it might be best to have Irma up close, because that's what she specializes in, is up close and personal attacks. You can be the far distance.
Yeah, and I could be the tree.
And he could be the ladder and the tree. And if anything, and it goes right, he's a walking billboard for
for Tom.
anyway. He could just
yeah.
make his speech for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can always take the literature.
Grigsby can be very convincing.
So
Just a tree with some propaganda on it. It's fine.
So what if the idea is, Irma, you're going to drop from the roof right in behind him and attack with essence?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then I will be in the crowd with a couple of pistols ready to create as much of a distraction as possible to cover your exit.
And if I don't make that shot, you make it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So sounds like a plan. I think the only thing I would want to see a roll for is to get on the roof.
Yep. So is that a setup action?
Well, it's improving the engagement roll, which I usually treat as just an action roll.
I will help.
So that's
Tree
cool.
mode activate. Ladder mode activated.
Okay. So you just spend a stress to give an extra die
Okay.
for Irma's finesse roll.
Okay.
How many dice does that give you?
That puts me up to 2.
Okay.
All right.
Two's not bad. Two's not bad.
Let's go.
Could be worse.
You could push for dice.
Is there such a thing as devil's
Might be worth-
bargain in
that
might
in
be-
this
push.
instance?
There's pushing for dice, but there's no devil's bargains.
Yeah, I think honestly, if I'm gonna push for dice, I may actually want to wait till I actually go to
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Save the stress. Roll it.
2 and
Five.
5.
So this is weirdly
Lucky
the first
five.
time that we've had a 4 or a 5 as the action roll this whole session. On a
Yes.
4 or a 5 in the Forged in the Dark system, you take a consequence based on the position and you achieve your effect. So you get up onto the roof successfully, and you think you found a nice hiding spot where you're tucked in under one of the eaves, waiting. The consequence is that at sunset, thump, somebody, a flying somebody, lands on the eave you're hiding under
Oh man.
and is just standing there watching the rooftops right above you. Do you want to resist that?
I mean, Irma likes to live dangerously, but you know.
Sounds fun.
As a risky consequence, you are only going to partially resist it. So I'm just going to say, if you do resist, it doesn't mean that this person won't appear at all. It just
Yeah, it's
means
like-
they'll be on a different part of the roof.
We're taking
Right,
back the
I-
wings. They use ropes instead.
Essentially,
I'm wondering if
I'll
this
be
might
under
be the
a-
appearance of our nemesis.
Dun dun dun.
Well, the nemesis hits even harder.
It's-
Well,
So
nemesis hasn't hit yet.
So that does bring me up to a very good point, because I've only acquired 1 stress so far, but we're getting to the point where we do. Is there a stress relieving aspect of
So-
Deathwish?
When you return to town, all of your stress is gone. It's that easy.
Okay. So I can afford to spend a little bit if I need it.
Yep. And there's
Okay.
also no trauma mechanic. If your stress gets to full, your character is what's called exhausted, and all that means is you can't spend stress anymore. So no more resisting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think for that, I am going to resist.
Mhm.
And that would be.
I would
it
imagine
was-
awareness, since you're trying to pick a spot where this person won't also use as their patrol point. But if you can justify prowess or resolve, that works fine. Sorry, did I lose connection there?
No, I'm thinking.
Just thinking.
on,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How could I explain this away with resolve? Remind me what emote does again.
Emote is the one for controlling your own emotions or changing someone else's emotions.
Okay, and dabble is just my ability to be able to.
Know things,
It's
No
the
thanks.
Scooby Gang.
and it's where you're getting all of your extra playbooks.
Hmm. I would say, just based on my monster hunter background and whatnot, that I would know that, like, hey, this Eve is a very defendable position, but this is also a position that if I was defending it, this is probably the one I would take. So I probably should move to a different aspect of the roof. That way, in case they do decide to patrol it, I'm not so much in the open. So I will go ahead and resist using resolve.
So you're not in the
Okay.
obvious place.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
6 and a
Six.
3.
Well, there you go. 6 minus 6 is 0, so no stress. And since you're now hiding in this spot, he lands in the same place, and now he's not on top of you, and you can peek out and see him. And it is the guard captain from earlier, the one who threw away your muffin. And he's just he levitates down from the sky and then just lands on the roof with a gentle tap.
My freckle sense was tingling with that one.
All right. And so with everyone in position, I think we can now make the engagement roll. Since you waited to catch him, I'm going to say you've probably got 2 dice on that. Does that sound fair? 1 for luck and then 1 for major advantage of lying in wait.
Sure.
All right. I will go ahead and roll that for you guys. A 5. So with a risky result for the ambush, the enemy is near but not in your trap. So The mayor steps out onto the balcony and begins to give his speech. But for some reason, tonight he is standing further back. He's inside the doorway, and so he's not giving quite as commanding of a performance, but also he's not directly down under the roof.
Well, dang.
So to carry out your trap, you're going to either need to draw him out or somebody's going to need to go in.
I think we want him to be seen by the crowd. So if somebody yells from the crowd of like, we can't hear you or something, like speak, get closer.
Yep.
Sounds
Well,
like a job
I'm
for
in the crowd.
Yeah?
I could yell, can't
So-
hear you.
If you're trying to provoke his emotions, that'll be emote.
Okay.
Is that the route you want to take?
Let's see. Well,
Grigsby's
I have
got-
emotes, so
Grigsby's got one. I could potentially put my last one. He seems to be a yeller.
All right.
okay.
Up to you.
But it's if you want to yell, go for it.
Well, I have 0 in emote, so you have a better chance of having that work, and I can't help you because I have 0 dots in it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't assist by doing the same thing as him. If you can justify the assist in any other way, then that's fine. As long as that other way you've got points into you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I mean, I could fire off a gun, but that would
Probably
have
drive him
chance of
in.
getting him to pull back as pull forward.
It could be just like I could be like, "You suck," and then you could be like, "Yeah."
So if he does that, that's emote though. If you're just
Oh.
following along, then you have to have the same
Right,
action.
that's emote.
Okay.
It would need to be something. I could do something with dabble. I could do draw. I could.
Yeah. Do you?
Draw is the skill for making art. Is there some
Ooh.
art you could flash back to have made that would provoke him?
Color in
Okay,
my stickers.
That's a good point. So I use my drawing skill to, let's see, I've drawn a poster. Let's see. I've seen pictures of him. I've never met him, but I've seen pictures of him.
Mhm.
So I've drawn a poster that's an exaggerated caricature of him that looks, kind of excessively fat and bloated, and maybe is throwing up the local equivalent of dollar signs, something like that. Something obnoxious, not very subtle.
Okay. And that's to assist or as a setup
That's
action?
to assist.
All right. So you wanna stick that poster onto Grigsby?
Sure.
something.
Yes.
All right. Or you
I'll
could just
spend a
march
stress
along
with
and carry it. Okay.
Yeah, I can march
So-
along behind it
Yeah.
with it.
So you'll pay 1 stress, and Grigsby will roll an extra die.
All right. So 3 dice for emote. You suck. Show your face. I got a 6. Sorry, I
Alright.
forgot to roll in 20.
That's fine. And I forgot to set your position and effect. But what I was going to say is risky normal. And
Okay.
with a 6, normal means that you get what you want. So the mayor steps up to the balcony and he leans over and says, "Who said that?" And he looks mad. And he sees the poster and he gets red in the face. And he shakes his jowls and is like, "How dare you! Somebody seize this outrageous buffoon!"
So he's making himself look more like the poster, the red-faced buffoon.
Yes, yes, he is. But some guards are circling into the crowd towards you. They're nowhere near you yet, but
Sure.
they're following his orders.
All right. Well, this for Irma, I think this might be the time.
Oh, this is definitely the time. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use my good old weapon here, packed with a little extra, little white pepper. You do good, really good little guys, okay? Kind Kind of pack them in there.
Yep. All right.
Scrolled on the side, it's just like car etched in the spice of life. And
Then you're gonna point blank the mayor in the back of the head. Wow. Stone cold.
Deathwish.
this is the spiciest speech he'll ever make.
All right.
Sounds so bad, but yes, that is what I will do.
So that sounds like a draw roll, probably controlled, and that little pepper shaker gives you improved scale. That should be normal, and then with powder burn, you should push that up to greater automatically.
Okay.
So you
Can I
should be
assist?
controlled greater on this roll. If you can think of a way that your character helps, then yes.
Can I keep you emoting and keep basically just taunting him?
Just draw his attention.
Yeah,
Sure.
you suck.
Sure. Yeah,
Cool.
pay a stress for it,
Okay.
and you'll buy extra time for Irma to get the shot.
Actually, are you low on stress? Because I could just fire off a gun and distract him.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
Cover up the sound of the gunfire with actual gunfire.
It seemed like a good plan. They'll
Bang!
never know. 2 bullets.
Firing a
2
gun
bullets.
straight up in the air
Yeah.
You know, I'm keeping an eye on what Irma's doing. I have some approximate idea of where she is. As I see her getting ready to do, this is the logical time that we'd set up, so I know she's doing this now. And as soon as I calculate exactly the right time, I'm going to shoot off my gun.
Okay.
Grassy knoll.
I
Alright,
am
let's see that
putting my
roll.
last 2 action dots into draw. So I'm
Alrighty.
fully maxed out at this point. So that's 3d6 at the moment with the assist. 5, 2, and 6.
6. All right.
All right.
Blam! And you soak the mayor in elixir and ants. And he flails forward, almost tumbles off the balcony, and then turns around and looks up at you outraged. What are you doing? He's not hurt by the elixir at all. He's just very confused and now very itchy. And he looks up at you like, "What are you doing?" And all the townsfolk look and see him covered in ants. They're like, "What's happening?" And the crowd
Now
is starting to
shoot him.
panic.
Now shoot him with an actual bullet.
We are the chosen ones.
And so the guard up there on the roof with you is going to start coming your way, but he's also still a distance away from you.
Yeah, I'm booking it. I gotta get out of town. I'll just like haul up the lid of the pot and I'm just like call down. I don't even know the name of my beetle. She just probably like, "Get going, run!" And pulls the lid down. He probably will like start to fly off or
Just roll off the roof.
roll off to the port to where he could fly after he falls off the gutter.
So bad.
So, as you're getting ready to do this, a figure wearing like a cloak and a suit of like black armor comes out of the mayor's office, wraps him in his arms, and drags him backwards into the office to protect him. Does somebody want to do anything to interrupt that, or just let it happen?
Well, I'm wondering if the ants and stuff have any effect on this figure.
So he's wearing like a thick robe, so it's
Right, so
they're
there's
touching the
barrier
robe,
there.
not his body. Yeah.
Essentially, we need to actually cause a wound to be able to get this thing started.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, I'm down at the bottom. I could.
Do you think you can take a shot real quick before they duck into the building? Do you think you have that shot?
Do I have that shot? Do I think?
So he would be at long range of you. What's the effective range of your weapon?
Well, I've got a regular 6-gun.
Okay, a revolver has an
Regular
effective
revolver.
range of medium.
Yep.
So you'll get -1 effect for being out of range.
Right.
And then the threat for a revolver is 1. And most normal humanoids are threat 2. So that'd be limited and then 0. So you're at 0 effect from here. But
Sure.
you're also in controlled position. So if you wanted to trade position for effect by like aiming more carefully or something like that, you could do that to
Yeah, I
get
can
yourself
trade
back up.
position for effect. I'm just looking at the special abilities that I could possibly take from the Ranger playbook.
Sharpshooter might be relevant here.
Yeah, because that would extend my range by one level.
I mean, Irma's got access to a Kraken gun that fires harpoons, but I mean, she's nowhere near you.
But you are directly on top of the target.
Right. Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I could. That just puts me to where I'll probably get caught or get some possible harm.
Yep.
But that's okay because now they're kind of tangled up together. So like if I get one, I'll probably get both.
Yeah, you could try that.
Yeah. I think that. Do you think that's our best option, guys?
Well, regardless of what you're doing, as long as I'm not going to risk hitting you, I'm going to take sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Go ahead and see if that
makes
works.
sense anyway.
If it doesn't, we can always flash back to where I'm doing something at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty useless. I'm disguised as a tree.
And a very fine tree you are.
Yeah.
But Grigsby, why don't you stump them?
All right. So are you trading up to risky limited or
Yes.
desperate greater?
Well, you said I'm in controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and you're a sharpshooter now, so that gets you up to controlled limited already.
Controlled limited. So I'm gonna go one level to risky standard. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Just by taking the time to aim.
Taking the time to aim, letting people to approach me. I'm not focusing on them. I'm focusing on him.
Yep. That's perfect. So
And I'm not
go ahead.
And I'm not trying to hide in the crowd.
And so if you're using the revolver one-handed, you roll draw. If you're using it with both hands, it's hunt. Up to you which one.
I have 3 in draw, so I'm going with draw.
There you go.
Okay.
Let's go, Jack. Just Jack.
Just Jack. Yep. Okay, so 3 dice. I am. Okay, so I'm not actually super familiar with Roll20. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So it's
I think I'm
slash
finding it.
R like that, just without the quotes. Yeah, you got it. And you got a 6. We are on fire with the dice. Well, except at the start there.
Yeah, I didn't got it at first.
So with a 6, you nail that shot. Blam! And you hit the mayor right in the heart as the figure's going for him. Well, you would. This enemy has an ability called Guardian that lets him use sort of like a protect on one chosen NPC. So the guy lunges forward with what you might call supernatural speed and puts his arm in the way and takes the hit himself. And this guy is threat 4 and has potent armor. So your bullet hits his arm and it just ping bounces off.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this our nemesis?
And so his hand pushes back. He's like, and his hand burns when it touches the elixir on the body. You see like a flash of light, and he goes, Argh!
Ooh, weakness.
All right, Irma. So would that give time for Irma to take an action in the midst of this while he's distracted?
Yes.
If you want
Gotta do everything myself. Pulls out this big giant harpoon.
So this is where I'm going to introduce. Well, no, it won't matter for this roll. Go ahead.
So yeah, I think she's gonna do that.
We just brought it along just in case. Just parked it alongside the street.
Or actually, let's see. Kraken gun that fires harpoons with hunt, but I do also have access to a troll gun, which is 2-handed, and
it also shoots with hunt.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, hunt is for 2-handed guns.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Hold on. Hold on, I'll still use it if I need to. I just won't have any
dice?
dice. This can't possibly go wrong.
No.
Or actually, this might be a good time to use my special ability for Water Knight.
Yeah, your water tentacles hit as powerful melee
Yeah.
weapons. If
Two
you're
limbs
swinging-
come together.
If you're swinging both limbs as a big like hammer strike, that's barrel. If you're just using one, that's draw.
Okay, let me look at my abilities here.
And so for the audience, just while you're looking at that, so barrel is the action that is for moving, swimming, climbing, riding, driving, and you use it for punching, kicking, grabbing, throwing, and grappling. You also use it to wield two-handed melee weapons, throw heavy things, or smash through defenses and structures. Draw, meanwhile, is the one for wielding and throwing one-handed weapons and creating art.
I think I'm gonna do the limbs that act as threat 2 because that uses draw, and that's where I have dice.
Good.
So yeah, she'll probably get really
And,
up close, but like the water out of her pot just like comes together around her arms.
And if you have the dual wield special ability, you can use both. Did you end up taking that, or I don't remember?
No.
Oh, okay, just one then.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your draw. And are you aiming at the mayor still, or are you aiming at his bodyguard?
Bodyguard's already taken some damage. I think the elixir.
Actually, the
No.
bullet bounced right off.
No.
But you said his hands.
Oh yeah.
started to-
The palm of his hand is burned, but that's not going to put a tick on his clock. He's a tough guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we probably need to take out the guard first. Yeah, because the
All right.
mayor's
What's he-
kind of.
So he's threat 4, and your weapon is threat 2, so you're at 0 effect. And he also has potent armor, so you're at -0 effect.
Whereas if aiming at the mayor.
Then you'll have
is-
normal effect, but he'll just use that guardian ability to jump in the way anyway.
Right.
Oh no, actually, since you're flashbacking to do it at the same time he's blocking that pistol, you'd probably get
Mhm.
away with it actually.
If
Yeah.
you want to go for the mayor. Okay.
Yeah, if you want to take out the mayor.
Yeah,
So
I
he
think
could-
take.
You can
'Cause he's-
protect one
he's
at a
only
time, not
human.
twice.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and take out the mayor.
Okay.
Now, would that technically be considered an assist because he's distracting the guard? Jack's distracting the guard at the same time, or no?
It would be a setup action, which is improving your position, which is why you're in controlled here.
Okay.
And then your effect with a threat 2 weapon against a threat 2 enemy is normal.
Okay. 1 and a 6.
Woo!
Nice.
Oh, and how much stress did I take for that flashback?
None.
None?
Because that was all planned in advance, so
Okay.
there's no reason it should cost you. All right, so you got a 6.
Yes.
So your water lash strikes out and wham, hits the mayor in the side of the head right after he gets protected from the bullet. He's like, oh, and he gets knocked out.
Does he take any injury when he knocks out?
Yeah, he's badly hurt.
Okay. So the elixir and the ants will start working on that one, but we still got to take out the guard.
Oh man.
Grigsby!
Okay, so there's a couple of things I can maybe do. I think I could probably set up by trying to taunt. I also
Well-
have.
So on that topic, you'll notice on the roll 20 that these two enemies have the eye icon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the one on the roof has this little eye icon, and that means he has what's called a controlled focus, and he's going to put that on Irma. So if any player takes an action that involves Irma, then he gets to inflict a controlled consequence immediately.
Gosh.
And then the other enemy, the one in the robe inside the mayoral office, has a risky focus. And he's going to go ahead and put that on himself. So if you take any action that interacts with him, he's going to hit you with a risky consequence before you even roll.
Okay.
So how would this impact us in regards of like controlled, risky? So it's just like you're having a consequence before you roll your dice.
Right. It's the same for people who've played Blades in the Dark. This is the mechanic where a master NPC might disarm you before you even get to attack them, just because they're that good, and you would have to resist that consequence before you can even start to fight back.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess what I would do, I can probably survey the battlefield and look for an advantage and probably set up somebody. I have this ability called Signature Flaw, which means that if I somehow get lit on fire, I can affect the fiction.
Other way around.
So
if you roll poorly, you can get set on fire to improve your roll.
oh, okay. Well, cool. So all right. So what do we need to do? So we got one person is like overwatching on Irma.
Yep.
And then
We have 2 guards, one on the roof and the one that's actually there holding onto the mayor and starting to drag him back into the building.
Right. Do
So
they
it'll
both
be-
have the super armor? Are they both like the
They
big...
each have a focus, but they're on different things.
Okay.
So because the guy on the roof is focused on Irma, you guys can attack him, and he can't defend himself with his focus. So you can sideswipe him, and then free up Irma to do her thing.
Cool. Let's
That's
try and
probably
do
a good
that.
plan.
Yeah. All right.
And
so,
unlike the big tough guy, he's only threat 3, and he doesn't have heavy armor.
okay. So I am going to.
However, he is at long range because he's up on the roof there.
Well, I'm gonna try and shoot him then.
Okay.
Cut to the chase.
Just
I got
pull
my
out that air rifle. All right.
Just like-
I'm gonna take this moment to remind you that gunshots don't hurt vampires
oh, man.
unless they're fire or elixir or something.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna
So
go.
it's not like a dart gun or something.
No, so the air rifle can fire anything. It's just a pressurized air weapon. But we're also coming up on the hour mark. So let's go to another break. And then during the break, we'll decide if we're going to continue this next week or if we're going to go into overtime. Okay?
Cool.
All right, sounds good.
Hey everybody. So we talked it out, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here for this week, and then come back probably same time next week, and we'll jump into the big dramatic battle.
Cool. Ian, do you want to? I don't know. Do we want to wrap up, or maybe to talk about like what we're looking forward to in the next session, maybe?
Yeah, that may be a good chance. And this is the Hacked in the Dark, show. So if anybody wants to give some short mechanical feedback, we could talk that out. Whatever we've got time for.
Yeah. So if people want to find Hacked in the Dark, they can find us on Discord mostly. We hang out in the official Blades. I don't know if it's official, but is it official?
It's
the Blades
official.
in the Dark.
It
Yeah,
is.
the official Blades in the Dark Discord. MK is one of our mods on the lovely Discord, which is a really awesome place, really welcoming place. We are all very all about discussion and enthusiasm. So if you're interested at all in Blades in the Dark or game design, please come check out our Discord. We would love to hang out. Yeah, so what are we all looking forward to next session?
Player deaths.
Well,
Oh wait, character deaths.
yeah, let's not lose any players.
You know, I am beginning to see what you mean by puzzle, Ian. Like, I was just like, and wait, and this is like, oh crap, how are we gonna get out of this one?
It's continues to add in the complexity. So that to me is so enjoyable, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, are we gonna make it or are we not? Are the sixes gonna continue coming, or are we gonna have failure rolls and then oof?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting seeing a version of Blades that actually goes for a bit of system mastery and a bit of mastery of the ecology of the system.
Mm-hmm.
That's a neat twist from kind of standard Blades.
Thanks.
And Ian, what are you looking forward to?
Well, like I said, I'm really looking forward to some character
Right.
deaths. Show off the lethality of the system.
Right.
But also, I am in my role as a GM, I am a big fan of the characters, and I want to see how they get out of this one if they do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we have to let the audience at least somewhat get attached. So let us get into halfway of next week, and then we can.
I don't expect to kill off all the characters unless you guys really mess this up.
Yeah. Have you ever had a TPK with this system?
Yes. I did. I've done mechanical tweaks since then that make it harder, but I have had a total party wipe, but they accomplished their objective. They managed to blow up the king, and the player who did the blowing up also fell out of a zeppelin and died. So,
So, but yeah, no, I could see that this could get real lethal real fast, even with the things built into the system to protect player characters in terms of resistance, etc.
Yeah.
All right.
Gonna get crazy.
So stick around next time, folks. We'll see you then.
Right.
Thank you very much. This was a blast.